Welcome back, everybody, to this week's live episode of the DCL Duo podcast, brought to you by My Path Unwinding Travel, and now also our show sponsor, WDW Magazine, or I should say DCL Magazine. We're trying to make this magazine a thing. We're trying to make fetch happen over here with DCL Magazine. So if you are a Disney Cruise Line fan and you have been wanting to extend your love to Disney Cruise Line to some great publication with some great photos, some great articles, some great tips and tricks, then look no further than DCL Magazine. Please help us make this magazine a reality. Head over to DCL Magazine, actually DCL-magazine.com to sign up for the wait list. And if they get enough interest over there, they are going to make this magazine happen. And I can tell you they're getting very, very close. They may have actually hit their goal, but we still want you to go sign up. So you get all the notices about it. You can sign up for it yourself. And particular plug, one, if you head over there now, you can use the code DCL Duo to get 10% off everything in their store, including some great calendars, but also your magazine subscription. And P.S., you can get a digital version for your iPad or your mobile device if you want, instead of a print version of the magazine. So thank you, DCL Magazine, for sponsoring our live shows and our bonus shows. And with that, Tracy, you're here. We're excited to have you on. Yes. Oh, yeah.
3-day countdown.
It's the countdown till we're together again.
Yes. Oh, Tracy. We're actually together again. Let's be honest. We're together again a couple days before that at Walt Disney World and Universal Studios in Florida. Before, as Tracy is mentioning, for those watching, the countdown is 53 days until the Disney Treasures maiden voyage. So we're very excited. For those of you who don't know Tracy is one half of the fondly nicknamed DCL Duo Sr. We met Tracy and her husband Michael back
but she's also half of the formidable security force that we have.
The DCL Duo security force. She is wearing her DCL Duo security t-shirt that she did make with her cricket machine. I love it. I love it.
Is it cricket or is it cricket or cricket? Cricket or cricket?
Cricket.
It's cricket. Right. I used to say cricket, and then I got corrected, and now I know it's cricket. But anyway, I'm gonna introduce Tracy first, in that we met Tracy and Michael on a catamaran in Martinique on the 11-night Southern Caribbean cruise. We became Facebook friends like a few days later, and the rest is history. And so now we have sailed with Tracy and Michael multiple times at this point. We are close friends. We make sure that we see each other whenever we're in the same place, which is generally Florida, Orlando, Florida, Walt Disney World, or heading onto a cruise. And of course, she is a very frequent commentator in our live show as well, and has been a guest on the show many times.
The comment stream is more manageable that Tracy actually the guest. No, I'm totally kidding. Hey, Sam, before you intro us into our topic, we got some news.
We got some news. Sorry, and then Tracy. Then we'll have you tell folks your cruising background so they know your creds.
Oh no, go ahead.
Get into the topic.
No, Tracy, go ahead and give your cruising creds, because I want you to comment on the news too. So yeah, give your cruising creds.
Well, I mean, she kind of told how we all met, but I didn't become a Disney person until I was an adult. I'd never been to Disney until I was in my mid-20s, and my mother-in-law took our entire family on our very first Disney cruise on the Disney Magic, which is why it's always magical on the Magic. And I will be Pearl in June.
Yay!
So I'm so excited. So we got a couple coming up here over the holidays, and then I will be Pearl in June. So I've taken a couple of cruises, and I am just really excited to be on again with you guys. I love you, and this is the topic that I'm ready for.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and you're taking your first Adventures by Disney next year as well. Is that right?
Correct. In September, I believe it is, and we are doing the ABD to Italy and the Amalfi Coast.
And don't worry, folks, we will have Tracy on to talk about that. But you might also hear her on some of our maiden voyage or New Year's cruise coverage. We will be celebrating her birthday on the Disney Fantasy over New Year's this year. So, all right. Well, with that being said, we've introduced Tracy. Before we start talking about the best things to do as an adult on a Disney cruise, we are going to talk about some news. Brian, take it away.
Well, so what is the news? I guess we got the Disney Dream is the big news this past week. She is out of dry dock, and so we got a view finally of some of the new spaces on board. As we discussed when they announced the new spaces, a lot of it is focused on concierge. So conversion
Yep.
of a bunch of rooms to concierge. There's in fact a new 1-bedroom suite that was added that looks like a slightly different layout than some of the other 1-bedroom suites.
Yes, it was one of those like treatment
Treatment room.
rooms, the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was the one, it
Oh.
was like the couples retreat room where they had like a hot tub in it and you could have like a couples massage. So they converted that into a 1-bedroom suite. But yeah, I don't know what category it is because it's different than all the other 1-bedroom suites. They did convert the tower to a tower suite, although we haven't seen pictures of that yet, and we're not sure it's actually being booked yet or allowed to be booked yet. So there is a tower suite. It's where what used to be the Outlook Lounge as well as the Edge Tween Club. So we've now seen pictures of the Vibe. Vibe is now split into Edge and Vibe with the pool deck area flip-flopping, right?
Sam, let me see if I you asked me to do the news and then you took it
Okay.
over.
Sorry.
So I actually wanted to talk about, so we had concierge room conversions. I wanted to start there. New 1-bedroom suite. We haven't seen what the pictures of that look like. Concierge lounge upgrades. So the lounge
Yes.
now has its own kitchen and it's an expanded outdoor deck area. The expanded concierge sun deck extended out on the starboard side of the Disney Dream near Satellite Falls, did not take over Satellite Falls as folks had thought it might. So Satellite Falls still exists, but there is a portion off to the. It did not impact the immediate seating area around Satellite Falls, but
kind
like
of the side. Yeah.
just off to the right and the starboard side. Now, what's interesting is the glass into the concierge sun deck is clear, so that's a little odd from a privacy standpoint. They can wave to your friends in concierge, but they can't pass you any drinks. So that upgrade did happen. Ramon's, as we're up on the pool deck, Ramon's Taqueria was added,
Cantina.
Ramon's Cantina, which is basically Donald's Cantina, but themed to Ramon's because it fits the theme of the other sort of
all of them
deck
are
food options,
themed,
quick serve options. Yeah, so that also happened. Looks like to be the same food. Yes, the other big the Tower Suite. We don't know what's going on inside of it, but it is there. Interestingly, there looks like there were some overlays to the windows that have been applied to the Tower Suite, so you can't really see into it anymore from what I can tell, but we can't confirm that. We're just looking at a photo and it looks like kind of a mirrored glass on the outside, so they probably can see out and you can't see in. That's probably a
That
good
would make
thing.
sense, like on the Wish. Yeah.
Yeah, although I think everyone just wants a deck, but fine.
Yeah, everybody wants a balcony for that suite. Yeah.
And then on the kids club space, obviously Edge was moved out of the funnel to make room for the Tower Suite. And if you've ever been in Vibe on the Dream or the Fantasy, it's actually 2 rooms right now. So there's like a main room that has like the juice bar in it and the pods that you can play video games in, some other seating areas and stuff. And they kind of walk through a doorway that doesn't have a door on it, and you're into a room that has like would have a pool table and some video games and some other things. And then they have an outdoor deck that's accessible. It looks like from the floor plans that you can find online, what they basically did was turn the smaller room where they had like the pool table and stuff into Edge, close that off. There is actually still a door there, I think, just to make sure crew can get back and forth, but it's walled off from Vibe. They each have a door to the outside area. My understanding, although we haven't specifically confirmed this, is they'll just be like specific times of day.
We have confirmed this. Yes.
That one side or the other will have access out there. There was supposed to be a ball pit, I think, put out on the outdoor deck.
It's not a ball pit. That's what they called it in the release. It's not a ball pit. It's a ball court that's netted in. So there is like some kind of like, it's like a play court, like you could do gaga ball or something like that, but it's a rectangle with like a net around it. And so I think they meant a ball court, not a ball pit.
Good, because I don't think anyone needed a Chuck E. Cheese style ball pit, especially after the CDC issued a warning today for private hot tubs on cruises. So
there still is the little plunge pool and 2 hot tubs, I believe. And so we've confirmed from a listener of ours, Jessica, who's actually on board right now, which on the Dream, which is doing its crossing, that they had, it flip-flops between Edge and Vibe depending upon what time it is. It's difficult to get there because they don't really have open house times for that deck now, because it does flip-flop between Edge and Vibe, and so there's not a lot of availability for adults to go out there and look at it. So I would say if you're going on the Dream and you want to see what that looks like, go on day one when they have the open house for everything, because you'll be able to walk through the whole thing. I do see a question here from CT Tinfoil Mouse Ears. Any word on the Enchanted Garden buffet line? Yes, it's still there, and there were no significant updates to Enchanted Garden. From what I've heard from the DCL folks, is that there were some like lighting changes and some like minor fixes here and there, but nothing that most guests would notice.
How can they not rip out the Steam tables that they haven't been using for years now?
They didn't. They basically did not. They basically did not update Enchanted Garden. So there, like I said, there's some paint, some lighting, things like that, but nothing that guests will really notice. So
it's baffling. So I actually do want to. So that is baffling to me. I will never understand that decision. Yeah. Fine. I want to rewind for a second though and talk about. Sean says, "I'm happy for the teens getting a renovated space. Doesn't change the fact that teenagers are the most terrifying demographic of people." Fair.
True.
Judgy. But
love fair.
I want to back up and just make one comment on this sort of refinement of space, because I think we were all curious what they would do. They did about exactly what I thought they would do, and I don't understand it from the standpoint that I would think that Edge is a larger demographic of children who are going to be using a club space than what my experience is. If there's a teenager out there or someone who experienced Vibe who wants to correct me, write in. I'd love to hear this information. My sense is that the teenagers don't really hang out in Vibe a ton. Like that they're like all over the ship.
They're like a roaming pack. Yeah.
Their club is the stairwell, because that's where I find them most often, sitting in the stairs. So
sitting on the steps.
I don't understand why they didn't flip-flop it and give the the Edge kids the larger portion of what is Vibe today, with all the video games and stuff that they're going to want to play with, and give the teens the Edge side of things with like seating areas and some stuff to do. But like I just don't think that they're using the club as much. So I am baffled by that.
I think they were doing it based on the size of the people, but I agree with you. I don't think that's what actually matters, because, let's face it, like teenagers sometimes are as big as adults or bigger. And so, if they did it based on the size of the people, they split it right. But I don't think that's really what is the right way to split it.
Taryn's saying my son only needed a small portion of Vibe. That was my sense too. And let's play this game. What do we call a group of teens? So Linda's calling them a gaggle of teens. I'd love to know if there's a term for them, murder of crows, whatever it is. Like, what is it? A gossip of teens. That's what I would call them. A gossip of teens. All right.
I like it.
All right. Tracy, any thoughts on this, all of this stuff with the Dream? Like,
the first thing, when you said they were doing the ball pit, my heart as an RN immediately went into panic mode, because Gaga Ball is the bane of the existence of a school nurse. Let me just tell you.
True.
So, so I panicked there for a minute. I mean, I totally agree with you as far as the clubs. I feel like the larger space would be more used by the younger kids, and even if they open up that sun deck area to the older kids, because chances are they're going to use that space more often than the I'm using Nathan. Nathan is my example. He's not going to go out and lay in the sun.
You're exactly right, and he's not gonna go like back and forth to get his swimsuit and change and all of that. Right. He would rather be inside playing video games or doing crafts. And so he's going to use that indoor space. But you're 100% right, Tracy. Nathan is, as a kid who's an Edge kid now, or actually in a month is an Edge kid officially.
How is that possible?
I know. He is not really going to be using that outdoor space if we're on the Dream or the Fantasy ones. And let me just say, we presume, we don't know this for sure, but we presume that the Fantasy is going to have the exact same changes, or almost exact same changes as the Dream just got, because the Fantasy is going into dry dock at the same time next year.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I have to put this comment from Linda.
Oh.
Linda says she calls them a gaggle since geese are loud, territorial, and can be scary to run.
That's good, Linda. That's good.
That's good, Linda.
I was going to say, as far as the concierge in the tower, unless any of my bougie friends get those spaces, I probably won't be able to see them. So, those to me don't.
By bougie friends, I can't imagine who you're talking about, Tracy.
Dear Craig, when you're booking the tower suite, buddy, we'll see you there. All right. I want to shift us over to our main topic. Before I do, just two quick plugs. One, I gotta send a special shout out to CT, aka Tinfoil Mouse Ears, has been killing it with the blog content. So I reached out to CT about a month ago and was like, hey man, you write some really cool stuff. If you want to use our Substack to like push that out to a broader audience, like feel free. And he has just been destroying it. He's got some great articles out. One talking about potential, I think ship names was one of the ones he published recently. He's got one talking about potential new home ports and ports of call.
And one talking about jumboization of ships.
Yeah.
Which is
it's been fantastic. So head over to, if you want to see the stuff that CT's written, and I highly recommend checking it out, head over to dclduo.substack.com, or you can just head to dclduo.com and it links off to like all the things that we have out in the world. Head over, check that out. Be sure to give him a subscribe on social media. He is just killing it, and we love having him as a regular contributor to our blog. So thank you for everything you've been doing, CT.
And you can get those Substack posts emailed directly to you if you sign up for it, or if you'd like, you can just go to the website and read them as you like. However you prefer to do it is great.
Yeah,
and CT and I may or may not have already been consulting today already.
That's what he's saying. Tracy is a guest in a couple of weeks. I love it.
Awesome.
I'm so excited.
Last shameless plug I want to put in is please hit like, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Please. Like, we're trying to build our audience here. If you're a regular listener to the podcast out there catching this later, if you enjoy our show, please hit those 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. I'd really love to see us hit 450 reviews for the year by the end of the year. So please help us out. Help us show your love for the show so we keep doing this stuff. But with that, all right, put the kids to bed, get the IDs warmed up, because we are heading for adults only on DCL on Disney.
The title makes it sound like it's a carnival cruise.
Hey, I think we did an episode like this not a while back, and I titled it like "Can I See Some ID?" or
you did.
Yeah, something like that. So, all right. There's lots of, we always talk about, there's lots of fun stuff for adults to do on Disney Cruise Line. Disney isn't just for kids. In fact, it can be fun for adults only. So we're going to break some of that down tonight. I just want to start by asking about some of the bar spaces on board. And now that we've got 5 ships, six ships coming, there's a lot that you can get up to in the bar spaces. So I think the way to tackle this is just, let's each give 2 of our top bars on Disney Cruise Line. So
hard.
I'm going to start with Tracy, as she's the guest of the hour. Like, Tracy, you could be on any ship, any bar in the fleet. Like, where are you headed? Like, what's your favorite?
So my absolute number one favorite, barring anywhere you guys are, is the Meridian. And I know that's not one of you guys' top bars, but Michael and I absolutely, is it yours?
I love it. Yeah.
Like, Meridian is like our go-to end of the night, after dinner, go hang out, get to know the bartenders. You're looking out the back of the ship, you can watch the sunset. Like, you can go outside and sit outside if it's not too windy, whatever. And the bartenders are always top notch there. I mean, everywhere on the fleet, honestly, but that's just one of our favorite places to go. We love the Meridian Bar.
Yes. And Meridian, for those who are not in the know, is only on the Dream and the Fantasy, and it sits right between Palo and Remy. And so it's a little bit off the beaten path. So it's not one of the bar spaces that kids happen to just walk by or casually walk in and don't realize. It is really secluded because it is in between Palo and Remy, the 2 adult only bars. So it's all the way up on, what is that, deck 12 or 13 on the very back of the ship, and it's got even a little balcony area, a veranda area that you can go out on, and it's a great place to watch fireworks from on Pirate Night if you don't want to be up on the deck. And I had to bring up this comment as you were talking. Of course, CT says Meridian, and quote, "I only sail on ships with chocolate souffles," end quote, which is, by the way, all of the ships in the Disney fleet all have Palo, so that works. All right, Brian, do you want me to go next? Because I would piggyback on Meridian, but I can give another one.
No, what I like is this is like a draft almost. So she's taking Meridian. So you gotta go to plan B here. So yeah,
she's taking Meridian. I am going to take the Rose. The Rose is on the Disney Wish. It is, of course, Beauty and the Beast themed. It will also be on the Treasure and on the Destiny. It is right. I'll call it it's kind of the entryway before you get to either Enchante or Palo Steakhouse. And it, like Meridian, is off the beaten path. It's an adult only bar. Kids are not going to accidentally walk through it, walk by it. They are not even really going to know where it is because it's kind of behind some black doors that they look like it's sort of cast only. Yeah, Josh is just typing the Rose, but I need to bring up Taryn's comment because this is the most important part. She says anywhere.
See, I was gonna cover like special drink tips and tricks here in a second, but
okay.
Go ahead.
But like in Meridian and in the Rose and most of the bars on board Disney Cruise Line, there is what's called the sommelier bin. And so if you ask what's in the bin, they might have wonderful bottles of wine that have been opened, but that they need to actually sell because they've been opened for, X amount of time. For example, champagne doesn't keep, right? And you can get for a much more reasonable price a glass of really nice champagne or really nice wine for like, I don't know, $12 or something instead of whatever it normally costs.
So reasonable.
Yeah, super reasonable. So that's of course a tip and trick, but yeah, doing that in the Rose, you've got the beautiful windows. It's just a wonderful place to have a drink after dinner, before dinner. Maybe you're having an espresso martini. I don't know, whatever you like. Brian, you pick one.
This is so tough because Meridian was one. Rose was not one for me. Oh. I kind of want to say the Concierge Lounge, but that's really not
fair. It's not adult only. It's not adults only.
The drinks are good. True. The drinks are. That's true. Yeah. It's not adults only. That's a good point. That's a good point.
I can't believe you're not picking the one that I thought you were going to pick on the Wonder.
The one I was going to pick on I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to pick the Skyline on specifically on the Fantasy because it is a larger version of the one that exists on the Dream. And I really enjoy the atmosphere. It's the original tech bar for Disney Cruise Line. And it was really fun. There's little Easter eggs you can watch behind it. And I love I think it's a French 75 that they call it, or a Paris 75. I forget what they call it on that bar, but it is a glowing blue beverage that is delicious and does not taste like alcohol. So,
I believe they call it a Paris 75.
I think they do too.
Yeah, not but the normal drink that you get other places is called the French 75, but their version.
It's very loungy and kind of dark and just nice, like ambience to have have a drink. So I also love that it's right off of the tube. So if you're in the tube and you're seeing an adult show and you're like, this isn't for me, you can just kind of like walk over there and like be in a quiet space and enjoy a cocktail. So that's a great bar.
Well, Lindsay agrees with you, Brian. She says Skyline is awesome. Yeah. And to answer Josh McHenry's question, yes, they will tell you what's in the bin. You say, what's in the bin? And then they'll tell you what's there. They'll look. They'll usually have to look. If they're out of, sometimes they don't have anything in the bin. If it's early in the night, they might not have anything in the bin. So that's, but you got to ask in order to find out.
And I would say I was going to say, dude, I think you said this, the best bin is the one in Meridian.
The best bin is the one in Meridian.
Because it's the unopened bottles of like wine and champagne from Palo and Remy they put into the bin.
Or it's been opened, not unopened. It's been the open bottles that from the restaurants or from the bar. Correct. Yeah.
All right. Next, we got to go one more round here.
Okay.
But I'm going to start. It's on the Wish. It's not adults only, but it is Hooked Barbary for the smoked old fashioned. As one of my favorite bars on Disney Cruise Line. Anywhere I feel like it
is adults only.
Just give me like I'm a smoked old fashioned T-shirt or something. I love that bar. I want to give honorable mention to a bar that I have not even experienced yet, and that is the 21,000 Leagues Under the Sea bar that's coming to the Disney Treasure.
Periscope Pub.
The Periscope Pub. I think that is going to be a great spot to get a drink and a beer, and they have some fabulous food, even if it's for a fee. So, like, I think that's going to be a great spot.
So, just to be clear, though, Hooks Barbary is adult only in the evening, but if you are but a kid could get their hair cut during the day. So that's why Brian is saying it's not technically. There are a few bars on board that are not adults only, and they're in the mix. We can pick from those as well. But Tracy, why don't you? And that's what I was trying to say, Brian.
Craig, look, when I'm on the Wonder, don't get me wrong, that's where I'm headed.
The French Quarter Lounge, yes.
But if I can be on any ship in any bar, then I'm not sure the French Quarter Lounge is my favorite. So, I mean, Cadillac Lounge is there, Keys, like those are great ones too. So yeah.
Just to be clear, the French Quarter Lounge on the Wonder and the Soul Cat Lounge on the Magic are both wonderful bars. They aren't technically adults only. They do allow kids. So we have been known to drink some espresso martinis with the kids being there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Josh, there aren't, as your comment notes, there are no real tiki bars on any of the ships. Not yet. We're kind of hoping that might change.
The Skipper Society should be a tiki bar.
Yep. And then the Lost Ant is saying the pub on the Magic is great. Yeah, the pubs across the fleet are pretty fantastic. But on the Magic and the Wonder, you've got those nice pub spaces. They have a hot food table out for the adults at night, and actually a little bit of a happy hour on the Magic and the Wonder. That hot steam table is on the Dream class ships, but it's in like a corner buried next to Ooh La La or the champagne bar. And it's only stocked late at night. So, I mean, it exists, and they don't have anything like that on the Wish class ships, I don't think. Do they have a place for bites on the Wish class ships? I don't think they do.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah.
All right. We call that magic. We call it magic food on the Magic because
I love that. Magic food. Yeah. So
it
Tracy,
just shows up and you don't have to pay for it. So
what's your favorite? What's your next or your other favorite adult bar space?
Well, I was gonna say Skyline. He took that one. Then we already talked about Soul Cat. So I'm gonna go with Pink.
Ooh,
because I do like champagne.
Yes.
I love a good champagne bar, and there's nothing, especially if you're not that familiar with champagne, it's a great opportunity to go in and do like a little flight and try some different ones to see what you do like. So and Pink especially, it literally it's like you're in a glass of champagne.
Yes.
It's the one with the with the glass balls from the ceiling and everything. And so I really do, and I do enjoy a glass of bubbly. So
yeah. Well, and you've got Pink on the Dream, you've got Ooh La La on the Fantasy. They're really, really similar to one another with slightly different decor, but both really wonderful champaign bars. Okay. I will jump in with
you're gonna jump in. You got one more pick? Okay, go.
I got one more. I got a second pick. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna stick with the Wish and go with Nightingales. I love a piano bar. I also love a champagne bar, and Nightingales is kind of the merge of the two, right? So I like Keys and the Cadillac Lounges, the piano bars on the classic ships, but I like the champagne bars, Pink and Ooh La La on the Dream class ships. So it's kind of, to me, the Nightingales is like that perfect merge of the two. I'm really looking forward to the Cruella de Vil lounge on the Destiny. I feel like that's going to have that, that vibe also. So it's interesting. I'm picking two Wish class ships, but yeah.
And I think we have probably failed to mention what is the biggest like unvisited fan favorite at the moment. Like people can't visit it yet, which is the Haunted Mansion bar that's coming.
Oh, of course, that's coming. Yeah.
That could be a killer addition to the fleet. So I can't wait to try that out as an honorable mention. I also just want to throw a shout out, by the way, to Cove Cafe, especially on the Dream class ships. They make some really fantastic espresso martinis, and as Ashley noted in one of her comments, DCL adults equal espresso martinis all night long.
100%. I had to pull up Sean's comment though, which is Hooks Barbary should have a drink called the Brian. He's earned it after how much he's hyped them up. Facts. Absolutely. Love it.
What would be in my drink? What would be in my drink? I'd have to think about it. I'd have to really carefully craft this drink.
It would be a special old fashioned. It would be
old fashioned.
What's the bourbon? It'd have to be a specific combo of bourbon and syrup.
Michael and Draco.
Michael,
talk to Michael. Michael, weigh in on this.
Yeah.
in the comments.
Exactly.
There you go. All right. Let's shift gears away from bars for a second, because that's part of the story here for adults only, but it's not the whole story. So let's shift away from bars for a second. I want to talk about adult dining, because there are some fabulous opportunities for adult dining on Disney Cruise Line. It should come with no surprise that, one of those opportunities is Palo. The other one is Enchanté, but there's also experiences within those restaurants, and Remy. There's experiences within those restaurants. So why don't we start with Palo, and then we'll move on to Remy and Enchanté. But you got a brunch, you got a dinner. Tracy, what do you think about, by the way, you had a great experience at Palo Prima Notte, which is something else we should talk about.
That's on my list. It's on my list.
For it.
So actually,
talk about it.
If we're talking about Palo, I mean, obviously we all know brunch is best. I mean, let's just be honest. But I had a great experience with the Prima Notte that we did. I'm a very picky eater. So when you're talking adult dining, Remy's out of my league, Enchanté is out of my league, but Palo is not out of my league, and I love it. I'll go to dinner there, I'll go to brunch there. But the Prima Notte was very nice because it was a lot of like small bites. And when I explained to the serve staff that, I'm a very picky eater, I don't eat seafood, gasp. He was like, no problem. I got you. And so he told the chef, and they made me special stuff because the ones that you guys were having were things that I wouldn't eat. And so I had a great experience with that. And I would highly recommend that for some adult dining, because it was a really good experience. And they paired wine with each one of the 5 courses,
and I think they only had to sub out 2 of your courses, if I'm remembering.
Correct.
There was the gnocchi, I remember, was subbed out. You had a different gnocchi. And then I remember there was a fish dish that they subbed out, and I can't remember what they subbed it out for. But
I kind of feel like they brought me more beef.
Maybe that might be, yeah.
But what I love about your Palo experience is you then went and sat at the bar and ordered some flatbreads after. And that bar exists. I never think to go to the bar in Palo on those classic ships, but they have a bar, and it's a great spot to sit.
Well, and it was funny because we had never done that before, and we were talking to one of the servers, and he's like, well, if you can find a server out in the actual restaurant that will take your order, you can just sit at the bar. And so one of the servers that we absolutely love,
was it Vince?
It was Vince. Love that guy. Vince is great. And he was out there, and he was like, oh, you guys are here. He came over, gave me a hug. I said, hey, can we order a flatbread? He's like, absolutely, sit down. And so I still had wine left from Prima Notte. So we sat at the bar and got to know the bartender, and they brought us one of those delicious flatbreads. I mean, it was like a perfect amount of food after having Prima Notte. Like the last thing we needed to do was go to main dining. So I
want to put it out there. We went to main dining and ate still like a full meal after.
Yeah. There was no way. So that was a great experience. I would 110% do that again.
Yeah. And it's, for those who haven't heard us talk about it before, it's only done on the first night. That's why it's called Prima Notte in Italian, which means first night. But it's done, there's 2 seatings. There's like a 6:45 and maybe an 8 or 9:45. I don't remember exactly what time the second one is. And it's limited. It's because it's done in the private tasting or in the private room in Palo. So they do it on, I think, all of the ships now, although I haven't heard whether or not they do it on the Wish. I should say I know they do it on the first 4 ships. I imagine they do it on the Wish. I just haven't yes, because it was available on the Treasure when we were doing the maiden voyage. So they must have it on the Wish class ships as well. All right. We've talked a little bit about Palo. Do you want to talk about brunch at all and dinner at all, Brian?
Well, I just want to know, just round table really quick. Palo dinner, Palo brunch. Which is your favorite? Sam?
Palo brunch. They're both amazing, but Palo brunch is still the favorite.
Tracy?
Yeah. That is a right answer. Yeah. You get points for that one.
Yeah. Thanks, Tracy.
I'm going to be contrarian. I'm going to say Palo dinner. I think they have more options, and it's a great
They're both great. They're both great.
Yeah, they're all great.
Yeah, they're all great. Should we talk a little bit about Remy and Enchanté, Brian?
Absolutely. I think we should. So for Palo, we covered kind of the special experience and the dinner and the brunch. I think we should do the same for Remy and Enchanté. So Remy and Enchanté, the cream of the crop in the Disney Cruise Line fleet, fine dining at sea. They probably would have Michelin stars if they were on land. Obviously, the food is coming from Chef Arnaud. Is that right? Chef Arnaud? Yeah. Chef Arnaud, I was trying to remember his name, who runs Victoria and Albert's at Walt Disney World. Bespoke tasting menus. It's Enchanté does a la carte. Remy does a la carte as well. Both do, well, actually, they used to do brunch. Now they do a lunch instead and a dinner.
That's really the same menu as the dinner, I think.
Right. Yeah. So now they do lunch and dinner. They used to have a brunch, a champagne brunch that they did, which we experienced once. And I thought it was good, although the champagne was the star of the show, not the food for the brunch. I mean, look, any chef will tell you the most difficult food to make is an egg, and they made an excellent egg for that brunch. But the champagne was really the star of the show. So they now do a lunch and a dinner. The menus mirror each other.
They also do a
dessert experience. That's right, dessert experience. Yes, they are expensive. They require adventurous eating. You must sort of appreciate fine dining. And you should plan for a long meal. It's easily a 3-hour meal, depending on what you get up to there. And they're price fixed menus. Now at Enchanté, it's like well, they have 2 different experience levels, but it's one menu essentially that you can choose from. It's just whether it's a lot of courses or a few courses. At Remy, you get the American menu or the French menu, and you kind of pick, and they will let you
can do some mixing and matching. Yeah.
But the fun thing is usually to go with, a partner, and one pick the American, one pick the French, and you can kind of taste back and forth a little bit. They do have some add-on experiences that you can purchase. So like a caviar experience, or upgrade champagne.
Yeah, or upgrade your meat to Mizuyaki instead of just Wagyu or something like that. Yeah.
So we're going to have to skip Tracy on this one because Tracy does not like Enchanté or Remy.
Yep, by the way, I need to pull this up that Michael is saying best looking guest ever. Oh, very sweet, Michael. Very sweet.
Thanks, honey.
The other half of the DCL Duo Sr. There you go. And so Sam.
Yes.
Remy or Enchanté? Which one's your favorite?
Hands down, Remy. Hands down, Remy. I don't know what it is. Both are wonderful experiences, but I feel like there's something just elevated about Remy, even though I feel like it feels like I think it's something about the space. The atmosphere is like warmer in Remy. It's a little bit colder. And I don't mean temperature wise. I just mean like the aesthetic is a little bit. Yeah, the decor is a little bit colder in Enchanté, and I like the decor of Remy better. I also love the cocktail in Remy that you start the meal with, which is the Colette. They don't do something similar in Enchanté. I don't know why. It's a total miss. They should have done a themed cocktail for Enchanté. It could have been different. It could have been the same. I don't care, but it just needs, a starting cocktail is a great way to start one of those kind of longer coursed out meals. Yeah, I don't know why, but I can't put my finger on why, but I feel like the meals that I've had have been just slightly better in Remy, but it might be because I also like the American. I always choose the American menu, and you, Brian, always choose the French menu. And in Enchanté, it really is all the French menu. And so they're both really fancy, but I don't know if I just lean a little bit more towards that American menu than the French style.
Well, Ashley agrees with you and says Remy totally wins.
Thank you.
So I look, I tend to agree. I really enjoy the overall dining experience in Remy better. I think the Colette is a nice touch. I love the French menu there. It just feels old world dining a little bit in this sort of like beautiful, gorgeous setting. That said, one exception. We have gotten to dine in the private dining room for Enchanté twice now, and once for Palo Steakhouse, all on the Wish. Those private dining rooms are spectacular. And the level of service in the Enchanté private dining room is like unparalleled. Like you have like someone just like basically standing there all the time to like do whatever you need them to do. We had dinner in there one night. It was just 4 of us, and it was like unreal to be in that room for that kind of a dinner. So I will say, if you ever get the chance to dine privately in either Palo or Enchanté on the Wish, the Treasure, or eventually the Destiny, I think that is an experience not to miss. I would even suggest pulling a group together to try and make it happen if you can, because I think they're gorgeous, 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 well thought out spaces.
Yes.
Sam, the core question people always ask us, is it worth it? Is it worth it? And I will give my quick answer to that, which is just the price that you pay for the comparable meal on land. in my opinion, is typically much, much higher. And since you've already invested in the cruise and you're getting, kind of a deal on it, and it's like similar food, I think better setting than any place I've ever been on land,
I mean,
with
yeah,
maybe
you're
some
looking out at
exceptions.
the sea.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
I think it is entirely worth it,
Yes.
provided that you are the type of person that likes fine dining and you're an adventurous eater. If you're
Yes.
not, it will not be worth it to you. You will be
Yes.
upset with the cost of the meal and not enjoy the experience. So
Agree. I think both are actually a great value. CT is saying Palo's a great value. Totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I think they're both actually a really great value for what you're getting. With Palo, it is more accessible to all. I think to all adults, of course. As far as it's not adventurous eating, although there are a couple courses that are maybe a little bit more adventurous, but you don't have to be at all adventurous. As long as you like Italian food, or steak, you're good to go. Remy and Enchante, absolutely adventurous, no question. So if you're into fine dining, if you're into adventurous eating, and you are able to sort of open your level of control, right? Like sort of say, I cease control to the chef, then it's a wonderful experience and totally worth it. If that's not your style of eating, I know for Tracy, it's not her style of eating. It wouldn't be worth it for Tracy, right? So I think there's
absolutely.
so there's that balance. It just kind of depends on what kind of eater you are and what your comfort level is. So
for us, it's not worth the money for me to go, because I would be worried the whole time. Is there something I can eat? Now, Michael goes with you guys.
Yep.
He has a great time. He's very adventurous. We did go to Victoria and Albert's once several years ago. Did the chef's table. It was a fantastic experience. They did have to baby me through it.
Right.
And it was a lot of courses to baby me through. And I did it, but I wouldn't do it again. For me,
Right.
it's just not worth it. So yeah, if you're an adventurous eater, I would highly recommend doing any of them, because I just think Disney just does it right always. So
Totally.
Well, I was going to say, it's not, I mean, the French can prepare one hell of a steak and fries. They're known for it. And you haven't lived until you've had French macaroni and cheese, or macaroni and cheese made by a French chef. Like, so I would actually be like, bring me what she's having. But anyway,
Mickey's mac and cheese.
Mickey's mac and cheese.
All right, I want to completely shift gears on us for 1 second. And I've got a couple of questions here in this category. The first up is adult only pool spaces.
Yes.
Which ship has the best adult only pool spaces?
Or ships. You got to do this by category, because Dream Class has one style.
Yeah.
Wish Class has one style, and classic ships have a different style.
Okay.
So there's
which class of ship, if you were like, I'm going to be an adult only cruiser, or I'm going with my kids who are sufficient age that I can just kick them to the kids club and not see them for an entire cruise, I'm going to lounge by the adult pool. Which adult pool would you pick? Would you pick the Magic Class setup, the Dream Class setup, or the Wish Class setup? And I'm going to tell you, there's already one that you just immediately knock right off the list, in my opinion. But,
I agree. Yeah.
Well, somebody else start then, because
I'll start. I'm picking the Magic Class because I like that Quiet Cove pool. It's a bigger Quiet Cove pool than on the Dream Class. The Wish Class is kicked out immediately. Wish Class, as Brian said, there's one that you kick out immediately. It's definitely not the Wish Class because it's the smallest. It has that beautiful infinity pool, but it only has one hot tub, and the infinity pool is really small, and the space is just small, right? It's got a great bar, don't get me wrong, but it's not as big of a space. The Magic Class has, in my opinion, the best Quiet Cove pool. You got to balance. It doesn't have Satellite Falls, but it has the best Quiet Cove pool. Yes, kids have to walk through it occasionally in order to get from, to the elevator stairwell on deck 9 at the front of the ship, but it's not generally much of an issue. You've got Cove Cafe right there. It's a great spot. I don't know. I just think the Magic Class ships has the best Quiet Cove pool because it's the biggest and it's a deeper pool. Yep. Thank you, Craig.
And Craig agrees with you. I'm just going to quickly chime in and say 1000% agree. The Magic Class is where it's at. The Wonder specifically is my favorite ship to be on. And that pool is fantastic. So instead, I'm going to give one pro tip, which is if you're on a Wish Class and you want to have an excellent experience with the adult pool, then
I know where you're going.
wear your swim trunks, wear your swim trunks on boarding day and head straight there because but we did an adult pool takeover on the Wish on our back-to-back. And on the second leg, we just went straight there and took the pool over, and it was ours until like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon after people got their rooms and got their swim gear out. And we had a fabulous time, great drinks, sitting in the pool, enjoying pork and canaveral from stern of the ship with no one there. So that's my recommendation for the Wish. Tracy, what's your favorite adult pool area?
So I was really struggling with this because the Wish class has my best memory.
Yeah.
Because when we did that, that was like, we got there and they were in the middle of a bar meeting. Like we were literally the first people in the pool and the only people
we're like, when does the bar open? Can someone make us a drink, please?
But I would agree. And the other thing about the Wish class that I don't like is that there's not a place to lounge. I'm a sun seeker, and there's not like chairs to lay out in next to the water. So that I'm kind of with you guys in kicking that one out. My gut was magic class. My gut was magic class. I do like Satellite Falls, but my gut is the magic class.
Yeah. And to be clear, Satellite Falls is on the Dream class. So you're on the Dream and the Fantasy. That has a smaller Quiet Cove pool area on the Dream or Fantasy, but then you also have an additional up one level. You have the Satellite Falls area, which is, I'll call it a wading pool or a sitting pool.
You know what
it's not really a pool. It's got a good
smaller,
lounging area.
It's like the difference between what do you call it, portrait versus landscape mode, because their pool is in landscape, and so it shrinks the size of the deck that you can devote to the adult pool, and then it's not as deep, but they do have a bar, they do have a swim up bar, and I do appreciate they have the space where you can like sit on a chair with your like feet in the pool a little bit and just kind of read to cool off.
Swim up bar, wait up bar,
yeah.
So I don't think that it's a bad. I think the Dream class has a good adult pool space, and like I said, it has like 2 separate adult pool spaces, but I just like the way that I like your landscape versus portrait analogy.
So Josh McHenry, I 100% agree. The proportion of adult pool to family pool is shrinking with each class of ship. Yeah. Well, let's hope the trend reverses with the next wave of ships that are coming. But all right, I want to ask a very specific. Actually, you know what? No, we're going to shift gears. I'm going to save that question for the very end. Let's talk about adult activities on
How
board.
about daytime first? Let's talk about. Because there's different things.
Let's not limit it. Let's just talk adult activities. If you want to do a daytime and a nighttime, you can. But like, why don't we each sort of talk about 2 adult activities that we enjoy on board the ships? I want to put a pin in one thing that I doubt we'll talk much about, but there are adult only excursions that you can avail yourself of if you're sailing adults only. And so if you are sailing without the kiddos, or your kiddos are comfortable hanging back on the ship while you take an excursion, or being in
or
the
you don't have
kiddos, take an excursion,
or you left them at home.
That was the first one I said. Then I would say, look into the adult only excursions. They can be fun. You won't have kids kind of running around. And
we've done several and highly recommend them.
Yeah. So Tracy, let's start with you. What's a favorite adult activity on board?
I know which one she's going to pick, number 1.
And it can be a show or it can be an activity.
It can be. Are we doing one day and one night?
You can do whatever you want.
I know what she's going to pick, and it's a daytime.
Well, if I can only pick from night, it's silent DJ and karaoke, the adult karaoke. Nice. I mean, if I can pick from just the night. Otherwise, I would say trivia. As long as you guys we're all together in our little group, because we're not real good at trivia by ourselves, but in a group, we're pretty good. So, but silent DJ is like, I had never done that before. And it was like 2-3 cruises ago. And now I'm like seeking it out. Like, when is it on the navigator? Like, when is the silent DJ? That is such a hoot. And that's not necessarily adult only, but it is later in the night. So there's less kids there. I mean,
and they have a couple of different silent DJs. So some of them are adults only, and some of them are family friendly. The ones that are earlier tend to be the family friendly ones. The ones that are later tend to be the adult only
Gotcha.
versions. They say in the Navigator app if they are adult only or if it's open activity. So they'll say to both. Yeah, they'll say, but it's usually like the 7:30 p.m. one is usually the family friendly one. The 10 p.m. one or 10:30 p.m. one is usually the adult only.
I thought for sure Tracy was going to say martini tasting. So
I thought she was going to say rainforest room, Brian.
Oh, the rainforest.
Those are still on the list.
Lord.
You guys aren't even there yet.
I know.
All right. We'll get there. We do have to cover spa as its own topic. That's a good call.
Okay.
Sam, adult activity on board. Adult activity.
Okay. This is hard because I like so many of them. I want to say trivia is definitely one of them. I love the trivias. I particularly love, now there's ones during the daytime and ones during the evening, but I particularly love the evening ones that are the music, the decades trivia, right? So like 80s music, 90s music. Those are my decades. I'm better at those. I mean, I'm okay at 2000s. I'm not great at any of the music trivia. Let me just want to put that out there, but I just enjoy it. I like bop into the music and trying to figure it out. So I love those trivias. The other one that I would say is I love me some champagne. So I love me a champagne tasting. So Disney has a bunch of different drink tastings, and then they'll have like a mixology and a martini and a bourbon and that sort of a thing. But I'm a bubbles girl, and so I love the champs tasting. Yeah. So I mean, they usually do it at like Cadillac Lounge or Keys or Meridian. It just depends on obviously what ship you're on, but I love the champagne tasting. Brian, what are your two?
Well, Michael is talking about
brain teasers trivia. I do love that.
One.
Yes.
I think there's a medal back here from that somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah. No one's mentioned Match Your Mate.
I know, so I love that too.
I gotta say that like Match Your Mate is some of the most entertaining, one of the most entertaining experiences on Disney Cruise Line. If you get the right mix of people, if you get the wrong mix of people, like you're out of there within 5 minutes. Like you should just get up and leave. I'm not a big fan of some of the.
It's a newlywed game. For those who haven't listened to previous shows of ours talking about it, it's a newlywed game, but they take 3 different couples. One who's like newly married, one who's been married for maybe like 10 years, and then one who's been like, they try to find who's been married the longest, like 30 plus years or whatever. And then they ask you, they separate you and they ask you these ridiculous questions, and it's pretty funny. It's a good time. It's usually in like whatever the club space or sort of larger bar venue is, depending upon which ship you're on. Yeah, Dennis,
I'm with you. Sam tried to get me to volunteer once, and we got
one time. We did not get chosen.
We got into the dance off, and I couldn't shake my booty fast enough. Yeah. So it was not.
We did
happening.
Not get it.
How did I miss that?
Yeah, well, good. There's no film of it. So I love Match Your Mate. I think it's really super entertaining. So that's my favorite adult activity on board. I don't love the game shows that lead into the nighttime stuff. The nighttime
Michael likes the Quest one. Yeah.
None of them really are like super, like, I don't know. I don't love them, but they're fun lead-ins. I will put a plug in though for the adult variety acts. So the variety acts on board.
Oh yeah.
If you're on a cruise with variety acts, then they'll do an adult version of the variety act, and some of those are spectacular.
They're often
some of them
very good. The magicians are often really, really good. I feel like the magicians are good on the big stage, but they're even better, especially the ones who do more close-up magic type stuff. They're even better in that smaller venue. So yeah, I think those are great to go to. I just wanted to bring up a couple comments about Match Your Mate. So Jeff is chiming in. We were definitely right about the Match Your Mate people becoming celebrities. Yes, if you're on Match Your Mate, we will see you around the ship, and we will call you the couple who had magic in the car.
The couple in the Volkswagen, the couple in the airplane bathroom. Yeah.
Exactly. And then CT is saying Match Your Mate is fun to watch, but he thinks that Mrs. Tinfoil Mouse Ears would hit him with a foam sword if she volunteered them.
Yeah. All right. I just want to say there is. Every night there is programmed adult activity, unlike a Royal Caribbean or a Virgin or a Carnival. You don't have a ton of choice. It's really like you're going to like a seminar, and there's a track for you called adult. And so you head to the lounge after dinner. There's a game Then there's usually a main event, and then afterwards they convert it to dancing, and you can go to one of the bars. The bars close early on Disney Cruise Line, not surprisingly. So it's not a up all night kind of cruise experience, no casino, that kind of thing. But
yeah, your other options are really just listening to music or having drinks in one of the bars that might be quiet.
Piano bar, pianos most often, or like maybe a little live band in the French Quarter Lounge, something like that. So it is not a late night ever on Disney Cruise Line in my experience. Maybe 1 o'clock in the morning is like the max.
That's real late.
Yeah, and that can be really late. I want to shift gears though and talk about the spa, because there are some adult only spa treatments. And well, I mean, the spa itself, except for the teen spa offerings, is primarily adults only. Let's go around and talk about our favorite our favorite experiences with the spa. I'm going to start because everyone knows what I'm going to say.
Yeah, you're going to say
it's the men's shave and pro collagen facial treatment, and specifically it's in Hooks Barbery. So really love that experience. If you have not tried it out there, like I used to get massages all the time, not the biggest massage fan. Maybe I'll get there again. But I'm not currently the biggest massage fan, but I love the relaxation of like almost taking a nap in the barber chair while they're just kind of like shaving, and the hot towels and the cold towels and the face masks and all that stuff. It is fantastic in my opinion. If you're someone who doesn't like want a full on shave, they'll just, trim your beard for you. I don't like the shave all the way down, so they just use an electric razor to kind of get my beard down a little bit and then do it. My scruff. I like a little scruff. So yeah, it's great. And if you're there at the right time of the afternoon, you can get a little, old fashioned while you're getting your shave. So that is my favorite spa experience. Tracy, kicking it over to you.
We know what's
well, yeah, rainforest, 110% rainforest.
But which one?
Oh gosh.
Golly.
Well, tell people what the rainforest room experience is first.
So the rainforest room is like a place that you can go, and they have different experiences like hot and cold showers. One of the is it the Dream Class that has the ice room? It must be the Dream Class that has the ice room.
The Wish has one. I don't think the Dream Class has one, but
no,
I can't
ice
remember.
room is only
it's definitely the Wish.
Yeah, the cold room is only on. Yeah, so the Magic Class ships have an all interior rainforest room that has the steam rooms, the hammam, those sorts of things that you'll find in
showers and the loungers, heated
loungers.
Much smaller room. The Dream Class has the same thing, but then they have the outdoor area where you find the heated loungers and the hot tubs. Notably, Michael's saying 14-night cruise and she never showered in her stateroom. Did not say she never showered at all, so that's good. That's a step in the right direction. And then the Wish Class has the sort of most luxurious rainforest room experience. Not only do they have the heat, they have showers, larger showers, very different kind of showers, and they have a huge outdoor space, hot tubs, and then the cold room, which I'm also a big fan of. So yes,
So I mean, I like them all because they have some of them have swings that you can swing in. But for me, it's a quiet place to go if I want to get out of the sun. I want to read part of my book or take a quick 20-minute nap. They're all attached to like the spa area. So when you go to the spa, you may also use some of the areas in the rainforest, which is a nice little perk. Especially on the Magic, because they kind of funnel you in through that like area. But yes, I did. The showers are so big in the spa, you guys.
They are really nice.
In your room, they're teeny tiny. And so when we were on the Panama Canal, every day I'd go about 4 o'clock. I'd go to the rainforest room. I'd get a warm lounger. I'd read a couple chapters. I'd take a 20-minute nap, and then I'd use the shower in the rainforest room at the spa area. Big, and you get to use the Elemis shampoo and conditioner and body lotion, and then I'd go back to the room and get ready for dinner. It was like perfection.
Love it. I'm gonna say,
CT, you are gonna love it. You're gonna love it. CT saying he's trying the rainforest room for the first time. You're gonna love it. And I just want to put a plug in for the showers in the spa generally, because if you're a tall person, They are much
and
bigger.
I'm not, but
and to be clear, you can use what Tracy is talking about. Those showers are the locker room showers, and anyone can actually use the locker room because it's like if you're going to the gym, if you are going to the spa, whatever, anyone is allowed to use the locker room. You can go there even if you're not having a spa treatment, even if you haven't paid for the rainforest room. There are showers that are like these weird showers, like that
cold
has special warm showers, cold showers that have special effects to them
Arctic
in the
blast.
rainforest. Right. Those are in the rainforest room.
Caribbean rain.
But the regular showers in the locker rooms are very spacious and great for tall people. That's what they're talking about. Okay, so I'm gonna mention my favorite. I have two, I guess I would say. I'm not big on the rainforest room because I don't like steam rooms and saunas and weird showers. I like a regular hot shower. But I love my hot stone massage at the spa. That's my favorite treatment. Second favorite or second often treatment I get is just I just get my pedicure, get my toes done, because of course I'm going to be showing some toe cleavage on the ship because I'm going to be wearing my flip-flops or my open-toed sandal shoes.
Please never use that word. Please never use those words again. Oh my gosh.
I love it. Anyway, so I often get a pedicure. The pedicure is not the most relaxing thing I would say of a spa treatment. The massage is obviously the relaxing treatment, but it's just kind of a nice spot, especially on the Wish class ships. The pedicure and manicure stuff happens in the untangled salon, which is kind of right by Hooks Barbary, and so it's kind of separate from the spa. I really like that space, but the treatment specialists are all really, really fantastic.
So one thing we didn't highlight that I just want to highlight about the spa are the couples villas on most of the ships where you can book them for like 2 hour, maybe 90 minute to 2 hour periods.
I think 2 hours.
You get like a couples massage and it's like a private villa and there's a
hot
tub on the outside or on the deck or completely whatever it is. And depends on the ship, kind of what it looks like. And usually at the end, there's like a tea service or a fruit platter or something. And
strawberries,
that kind of thing. So,
something.
Yeah. So if you're like planning to do a couples massage, like, you might want to check out the couples villas. And sometimes, P.S., if you get on the ship and you want to book a couples massage, they'll kind of upgrade you to the villa if it's not taken for kind of a reduced price. So you don't have to pre-book spa experiences on Disney Cruise Line. You can. If you want to get a deal or you think you might want to do them on port days or at odd times during the cruise, I say wait to book them until you're on board if you're flexible, because you'll get deals on that stuff. So, all right, last question, because we are over time, amazingly enough. Believe it or not, it feels like we've been talking for 10 minutes, but in fact, we've been going for close to 40. Last question, round robin. You're sailing 2 adults and 2 adults only. Favorite ship? Favorite itinerary? Sam.
I'm going on the Fantasy, and I'm going back on the 11-night Southern Caribbean cruise with Michael and Tracy and you, Brian, and actually my other friend Craig, who was with us on that cruise as well. So yeah, I'm going back on that. I'm just going to redo that cruise like over and over and over again, because that was a cruise we did without Nathan. I love the Fantasy. I love the adult spaces in general on the Fantasy. I love that Europa. I always mention the bathrooms in Barcelona. But I like the Tube. Yes. I like Ooh La La. I like Skyline. I just like all of the adult bar spaces in Europa are fantastic. And then of course I can also have Remy and drink at Meridian on that ship. So like it's got everything. While it doesn't have my favorite adult pool space, like I said, the Magic class has my favorite adult pool space, I still feel like it's got a really good adult pool space. And the bars kind of make the difference for me there. Plus, if I am going to use the rainforest room, that's probably the rainforest room I would go for.
CT says 2 adults following the DCL Duo cruise. So you're welcome anytime.
Yeah.
If they bring back that 11-night Southern Caribbean, we'll drop everything and book it. So yeah, and I love that Sam.
They have
I love
brought
that Sam
back
is
Southern Caribbeans, but it's just not.
No,
the
but the 11 The 11 night. Yeah, the 11 night. Or 12 night. 11 nights or longer, I will book it. I love how Sam is like highlighting the bathrooms in Barcelona as a reason.
Yes,
stay on the fantasy.
I love
They're
the
really cool.
Right. They're so cool. And they're
like
spacious but no, they have private. So they do have ones that are like several stalls, but then they have ones that are private stalls.
Okay,
and I love
way
a
too
private
much,
bathroom.
Way too much about the bathrooms in Barcelona. Tracy, ship itinerary, 2 adults. What are you doing?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm going with you guys on the Southern for sure. I like the 12 days or more, but honestly, more is always better.
Does that mean you're going back to the Panama Canal so you don't for 14 nights?
Exactly. 14 nights. Yeah. So the Panama Canal was 14 nights, and we were on the Magic, but Magic or Wonder, I don't care which one. I like the pool spaces. I like the pool lounging areas. I wish that the Meridian was on them, but all the bartenders can make good drinks, so I'm okay with that. I don't need Remy or Enchante, so I just need a Palo and chocolate souffle, CT. It's really all we need, right, CT? So I'm going to go with the Panama Canal, but you guys have to come with us.
Okay, fair.
So I was actually going to say, if I could swing it for adults only, I'd want to do the Wonder as my favorite ship for the adults only. And itinerary, it doesn't really line up with it anymore. I really enjoyed. I'm gonna give 3 potential itineraries. One is the transatlantic, which we haven't done yet. I just love the idea of all of those sea days. The other is. I don't want to do the Trans-Pacific. No, that was brutal. The time we did it that one time to go to Hawaii, I did not like the Trans-Pacific. Transatlantic, I want to try. And then it's rough. Yeah. It was cold, like coldish, like windy. Like I just did not love it. So I'd rather try the Transatlantic. Panama Canal, definitely for the 14-night aspect of it. I would love to do that one. There was one other. I think any sailing out of New Orleans, if they can bring them back, is great for an adults only trip, especially because they happen around Mardi Gras time. So you can kind of couple it up with like a fun little trip to New Orleans and then a nice little cruise on Disney Cruise Line. I think that combination is just fantastic for an adults only kind of trip. So, all right.
We'd be in on that too. Michael's never been to New Orleans.
What?
We did forget he's never been to New Orleans. I know. So
what? Michael.
We got to bring up this. So there's one comment from Jeff that
Michael mentioned that one too.
One adult only activity that we haven't mentioned before on this. We've mentioned on this show before, but not on this episode, which is the Art of the Theme Ship Tour, which is on the original 4 ships. It is basically a tour of tour of the ship, but it's the artwork, the theming. You get a different vibe depending upon who your tour guide is. It's part of the general sort of entertainment staff, the people that do bingo and trivia and all of that stuff. They do a great job. There's some facts that they all go over, but they often go over different kinds of things. So it's really fun.
After I gave Michael, he's like, "Have you been to Belarus?" I have not been to Belarus, Michael. I have been to I've been to Bucharest, and I've been to where did I go? It was not Bucharest. It was Bucharest in Romania, and Budapest. I've not been to Belarus. I've been to Slovenia. I've been to Ljubljana.
Okay, all right, Brian. This is a tangent we don't need.
Yeah. Okay, I got to wrap us up. Tracy, yes, go ahead.
One thing that we didn't talk about, because we talked a lot about bar spaces and not everybody drinks. So I wanted to throw out 2 things that you can do that doesn't involve drinking, just, for whoever. We didn't talk about the anybody can cook series, the cooking classes.
That's not necessarily adults only though. So that's why.
Really? Did they? I don't know what kid's going to go sit through that. I don't know that. I mean, I guess if it's a kid who wants to cook. The other thing was that Kickstart Your Day
drink
mixology class, but it's like fruit smoothies and coffees and teas or something.
They usually have a couple of alcoholic drinks in there, like a Bloody Mary and a
mimosa.
But the rest of the drinks in that, you're right, are non-alcoholic, and you could probably ask for a non-alcoholic juice or something like that if you aren't a drinker. Yeah, that is a great one. Brian always likes to do that. They do that on the Fantasy and the Dream. I haven't seen it on any of the other ships, but yeah, it's a good drink tasting one as well.
All right. With that, I am going to wrap us up. A couple quick announcements. One is, if you are in our Facebook group, please head over there and find the post where we are talking about the next DCL Duo podcast cruise, which will be slated for, which we're hoping, fingers crossed, we got to wait for the itineraries and hope they line up and all that stuff, or else we're going to have to completely rethink our strategy here. We are hoping for late June 2026, after the kids are out of school, kind of this last week between June and beginning of July. Europe, Adventures by Disney, river cruise on AMA waterways. And so if you have not had a chance to try that out, this is your opportunity to go with a bunch of like-minded DCL Duo fans and DCL cruisers to try that out together. We had a fabulous time on our cruise. We're really hoping we can pull this off as kind of a group opportunity for the DCL Duo. Head over to our Facebook group and let us know you're interested. We're trying to get a sense of what the interest level is so we can decide whether or not we want to book this as a group sailing with Adventures by Disney. And so please, please, please let us know if you are interested in that. Last sort of announcement for the evening is we will be back next week. Regular time, regular place, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We will be joined by Rebecca from the DCL cruising community, who's been on the show before. We've been on her show. We love talking to Rebecca, and we will be doing a fun little DCL Duo ship draft episode. So we're each going to design our own Disney Cruise Line ship and draft our favorite spaces onto it. Should be a fun time.
Our favorite restaurants, our favorite bars, our favorite kids spaces, our favorite pools. It is going to be a Frankenstein of a ship, but we're each going to get to build our own ship.
Yep. So with that, we will say thank you, Tracy. We cannot wait to see you in, I think it's actually 51 days, maybe 50 days. It's 53 on your sheet, but we'll see you before then for some exciting times and some fun. With that, thank you out there. Thank you to all of you out there for watching, listening after the show. Love all of you. Tracy, great to see you again. Love having you on. Hope to have you back.
Thanks so much. Love you guys.
Good night, everybody.
We will see you real soon, everyone.